I don't know about you, but have you ever kind of been in a situation where you had some tool, you became kind of infatuated with that tool, and you started using it everywhere to the point where it was kind of beyond where it should have been used? Well, I'm a huge Emacs fan. I've been using it for decades. I love it very much, but only recently I've started to use Org. And I started to use Org for everything, and it's been very nice, Org Mode. If you don't know about it, it's basically kind of like a markdown idea, but with just lots and lots and lots of more capabilities added on in the way that Emacs does. But it just doesn't allow you to control things. Sorry. So I finally decided, after having had a website since the mid-90s, that I was going to start a blog. I'm a little bit behind everyone else. I don't have a Facebook account or anything like that. I'm going to have a blog. And I thought, well, let's use Org to make the blog. But I kind of realized after a while that it's just not going to look very good. It just doesn't give you the power for layout and so on that you really want to have. And I thought, wait, right in front of me, I have the thing that I want. It's Scheme, right? I've got Scheme. I have a template library that I built for Scheme years ago that lets you generate HTML very nicely. And you can just, have macros that call, procedures that call procedures, et cetera, to generate HTML. It's very easy. So I did, with that, I decided to go just a little bit further and take advantage of domain-specific languages. So Scheme makes that really easy. So I wrote a thing called Define Blog Post. So I've gone from trying to use one tool everywhere that I really like to the other tool that I like to use everywhere in life, trying to basically make everything into a nail for that. But in any case, it seems to work pretty well. You can see this is kind of one-for-one with HTML at the bottom. And at the top, we have the name, the date, optional parameters, local variables. My blog posts can actually have local variables. And if you'll look at the next page, you can see that this outline, this form that I showed you on the previous page generates a nice card for the home page. So I can fit a lot of cards on the home page, attracting people to each of my exciting blog posts. And it generates the actual blog post itself. It's not going to scroll up all the way on this screen, I guess. But anyway, it shows you the entire blog post. And I'll go back to this for just for a second. There's a thing called Hero, which lets you specify what the picture should look like. So I guess Hero is web designer parlance for the big picture at the top of the page. And then there's a section called Blurb, which is what should appear here, as opposed to what should appear on the page itself, which is below that. So anyway, it generates the page itself, and then even an RSS feed, all very simply. So I haven't published this yet, but I have finally published my blog based on top of this, and it's pretty nice and pretty easy to do, and this is letting me have the full power of Lisp to generate my blog. So that's my little. Yes.
What engine are you using for your publishing?
What engine I'm using? So I have a Linode instance, which is basically a hosting service. I have a Linux instance running on it.
You just feed them HTML.
I have a web server that I wrote back in the HTTP 1.0 days that serves the posts themselves, and then wrapped around that to do SSL and just sort of protect me from denial of service attacks and stuff like that, at least a minimal level, is Nginx, which gives me some caching and that sort of thing. And shout out to Let's Encrypt for making SSL certificates free and easy to set up. So, yeah, so it's all handwritten, except for the Nginx shell. Yeah.
Any lessons learned?
Lessons learned from this. Yeah, try not to let that one tool that you've become infatuated with blind you to other possibilities. There are other tools you've become infatuated with which you might use instead. Yeah, that's the main lesson. So I read all these posts about writing about how important it was to write your own blog, how it would be motivating, et cetera, and also how to get yourself to that first post. And of course they said, start right away, don't worry about the infrastructure, all these things which I ignored. I spent a week writing all the tools that I was going to use to set the thing up. So I guess the lesson learned there is it's okay to build your own infrastructure, just don't spend too much time on it.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone else?
What's your blog about usually?
So I'm hoping to write a lot about Scheme. I gave a talk at the Scheme workshop late last year on the Scheme requests for implementation, which just hit 20 years. I'm the editor of that, so I kind of wanted to do a historical retrospective, so I did that. And then in November I gave a talk at the Tandy Assembly, which is the sort of gathering of all the TRS-80 enthusiasts out there who are still, and there are people who are still making these machines work, reviving them, writing software for them, putting them on the internet. I met a guy who's got an app store, so he took a video game I wrote in 1982 and put it on his app store so you can load it straight into your TRS-80. So anyway, I gave a talk there on this video game I wrote, so I wrote a post about that, and then just a lot of other little things. I'm also, I've built a new website for R7RS, which is not yet ready, but as soon as that's up, I'm going to post on that. So people say that writing is very motivating because it gives you a little bit of a reward and also kind of a reason to do all the other things you're doing. Someone once told me that you should live your life to have the best cocktail party conversation. And I think I'm going to try to do it for the best blog posts, so we'll see. So anyway. All right, thanks.